Life can be tough, challenges arise, obstacles block our paths. It's easy to become overwhelmed, to feel defeated, but what if there was a simple yet powerful tool to help us navigate these difficulties? A tool that could empower us to find joy even in the darkest of times. That tool is positive thinking. It's the unwavering belief in our ability to overcome challenges, to find opportunity in adversity, and to cultivate happiness from within. Positive thinking isn't about burying our heads in the sand. It's not about denying the existence of pain or hardship. It's about choosing to focus on the good, on the possibilities, on the strength that lies within each of us. It's about acknowledging the negative, but not letting it define us. Imagine a garden. We can choose to focus on the weeds, letting them choke the life out of our plants. Or we can choose to nurture the flowers, to water them, to give them sunlight. The choice is ours. Similarly, positive thinking allows us to cultivate a mindset that fosters growth, resilience, and joy. It's the unwavering belief that even amidst the storms, the sun will shine again. Positive thinking is the key to unlocking our inner strength, to finding hope in challenging times, and to living a life filled with purpose and happiness. For years, scientists believed happiness was something we stumbled upon, a matter of luck or circumstance. But groundbreaking research has revealed a profound truth. Happiness is a choice, and it's a choice deeply intertwined with the way we think. Positive thinking releases endorphins, elevating our mood and reducing stress. These chemicals have a lasting impact on our health and happiness. Positive thinking strengthens our immune system and lowers blood pressure. It also enhances our mental and emotional well-being. Cultivating a positive mindset rewires our brains for happiness. The science is clear. Happiness is something we create. We understand the power of positive thinking, we see the scientific evidence, but how do we actually put it into practice? The answer lies in conscious effort and consistent practice. Start each day with gratitude. Reflect on things you're thankful for. Another powerful tool is positive self-talk. Replace negative self-talk with affirmations. Our thoughts become our reality. Choose positive thoughts to create a happier life. Atlanta, Georgia, a city pulsating with life, a vibrant tapestry woven from music, history, and Southern charm. In a cozy two-story house, Melissa and Perry built their life together. Their home was filled with the aroma of Melissa's sweet potato pie and the sound of laughter. Melissa's warm heart and smile held the family together. She was the heart of her community, always ready to help. Perry, a man of quiet strength, was the family's rock. His love was evident in every touch and word. Together they created a home filled with love and laughter. Their children, Eric, Mel, and Tito, were a testament to their love. This family faced life's challenges with an unbreakable bond. Eric, the eldest, was the epitome of responsibility and diligence. A recent college graduate, he had just started his first job as an accountant. His sharp mind made him a natural fit for the role. He was the one his siblings often turned to for advice. His calm demeanor offered a sense of stability. Mel, the middle child, was a whirlwind of creativity and passion. A budding artist, her world was a kaleidoscope of colors. Her infectious laughter could brighten even the dreariest of days. Then there was Tito, the youngest, the life of the party, always ready with a joke or a mischievous grin. Tito had a knack for bringing people together. He could turn any gathering into a celebration, his laughter echoing long after the music stopped. Though still in high school, Tito had big dreams, aspiring to one day own his own music studio. Life wasn't always perfect, of course. There were disagreements, the typical bumps in the road that every family navigates. But through it all, the love that bound them together never wavered. They were a team, a unit, a force to be reckoned with. They were the Jacksons, and they were Atlanta strong. Sunday dinners were a sacred tradition in the Jackson household. It was a time for the family to come together, to share stories of their week, to revel in each other's company. The table would be laden with Melissa's soul food, each dish made with love and seasoned with laughter. Perry would often regale them with tales from his childhood, his booming laugh filling the room. Eric would share anecdotes from his new job, his dry wit eliciting chuckles from his siblings. Mel, ever the artist, would describe her latest project, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. And Tito, well, Tito would keep them all entertained with his humorous observations and infectious energy. These Sunday dinners were more than just meals, they were a celebration of family, a reminder of the unbreakable bond that held them together. It was during these gatherings that the Jackson children truly learned the meaning of love, support, and the importance of cherishing the moments they shared. These were the values that Melissa and Perry held dear, the values they instilled in their children, the values that would serve as their compass as they navigated the complexities of life. Tito, the youngest of the Jackson clan, was a force of nature. His energy was boundless, his spirit infectious. He had a smile that could light up a room, and a laugh that was impossible to resist. Music was his passion, his refuge, his way of expressing the emotions that ran deep within him. He spent hours in his makeshift studio in the basement, his fingers dancing across the keyboard, his head bobbing to the rhythm, lost in a world of melodies and beats. He dreamed of one day sharing his music with the world, of his songs reaching the hearts of millions, of his name becoming synonymous with Atlanta's vibrant music scene. He had the talent, the drive, and the unwavering belief in himself that only youth can possess. His family, his biggest supporters, encouraged his passion, their home often filled with the sounds of his latest creations. To his friends, he was the life of the party, the one who could turn any gathering into a celebration. He had a knack for making everyone feel welcome, for finding the humor in any situation. He was the friend you could always count on, the one who would be there for you no matter what. Tito, with his infectious energy and kind heart, was a bright light in the lives of everyone who knew him. The warmth of a typical Atlanta afternoon bathed the Jackson household in a comforting glow. Melissa hummed along to the radio, her hands expertly kneading dough for her famous dinner rolls. Laughter spilled from the living room where Perry wrestled with Tito. Mel sketched furiously in her notebook, capturing the scene. The ringing phone cut through the idyllic atmosphere. Melissa wiped her hands and reached for the phone. "Hello?" she answered cheerfully. The voice on the other end was unfamiliar, urgent. "Is this Mrs. Jackson? There's been an accident!" The words shattered the peaceful afternoon. Melissa's breath caught, her hand tightening around the phone. "An accident?" she whispered, struggling to grasp the reality. The drive to Grady Memorial Hospital was a blur. Melissa sat in the passenger seat, her body rigid, her knuckles white as she gripped the dashboard, each mile that passed feeling like an eternity. Perry, his usual calm demeanor replaced with a look of frantic worry, navigated the Atlanta traffic with an uncharacteristic urgency, his silence speaking volumes of the storm raging within him. The phone call had been brief, the details sparse. All Melissa knew was that Tito had been involved in a car accident, that he was at Grady, and that they needed to come immediately. The unknown loomed over them like a dark cloud, each unanswered question amplifying their fear. What had happened? How serious was it? Was Tito okay? As they pulled into the hospital parking lot, the sight of the imposing building, a beacon of hope and despair, sent a fresh wave of nausea through Melissa. She felt a hand on hers, warm and reassuring, and looked up to see Perry, his eyes filled with a silent plea for strength, squeezing her hand. "We'll find out soon," he said, his voice raspy, his words meant to comfort them both. The sterile, brightly lit waiting room of the emergency department did little to ease their growing anxiety. The air hung thick with the scent of antiseptic and the unspoken fear of those who occupied the plastic chairs lining the walls. Melissa paced back and forth, her steps quick and uneven, her mind racing with possibilities, each one more terrifying than the last. Perry sat slumped in a chair, his head in his hands, his shoulders shaking with silent sobs that tore at Melissa's heart. Whispers of car accident and critical condition reached their ears from the hushed conversations around them, each word like a hammer blow to their already fragile hope. Time seemed to stand still, each tick of the clock a painful reminder of their helplessness. They clung to each other, drawing strength from their shared love, their fear palpable in the air between them. As minutes turned into an eternity, a young doctor in blue scrubs emerged from the double doors leading to the treatment area. He looked at the clipboard in his hands, his eyes scanning the room until they landed on Melissa and Perry. Their heads shot up, their bodies tensing in unison, their eyes pleading for news, for any glimmer of hope. "Mr. and Mrs. Jackson?" the doctor asked, his voice gentle but weary. Melissa nodded, her throat too tight to speak. "I'm Dr. Lewis, one of the trauma surgeons who operated on Tito." He paused, his gaze flickering between them, his next words hanging heavy in the air. "He's been in a very serious accident. The impact was severe." Melissa felt a wave of dizziness wash over her, the room tilting precariously as the full weight of the doctor's words crashed down on her. She reached out, her hand finding Perry's, his grip tightening instinctively, anchoring her to reality. "How is he?" Perry choked out, his voice thick with emotion. "He's alive," Dr. Lewis said, his tone measured, careful not to offer false hope. "But he's in a coma. He has multiple fractures, internal injuries, and there's been some swelling in the brain. We're doing everything we can, but it's too early to say what the long-term outcome will be." Melissa's world narrowed to the doctor's words, each syllable a hammer blow to her heart. A coma, swelling in the brain. The medical terms, once distant and abstract, now held a terrifying immediacy, painting a grim picture of her youngest son's fight for life. The days blurred into an agonizing cycle of waiting and hoping. Melissa and Perry kept vigil at Tito's bedside, the rhythmic beeping of machines a constant backdrop. The once vibrant young man lay still, swathed in bandages, tubes, and wires. Mel filled sketchbooks with drawings of her brother, each stroke a silent plea for his return. Eric threw himself into work, a distraction from the uncertainty gripping their family. Through grief and fear, Melissa and Perry clung to hope, their love for Tito a beacon in the darkness. They drew strength from community support, visitors filling the hospital room with prayers and home-cooked meals. They held on to the doctor's words and the unwavering belief that Tito would find his way back to them. Weeks passed and the sterile silence of the ICU became a heavy shroud. The initial shock of Tito's accident gave way to a numbing routine of hospital visits and the hum of machines. The once vibrant laughter in their home was replaced by a heavy silence. Melissa barely left Tito's side, speaking to him softly, willing him to wake up. But Tito remained lost in his coma, his dreams put on hold. The doctors offered cautious updates, a delicate dance between hope and uncertainty. Perry tried to remain optimistic, a pillar of strength for his family, but fear etched in his eyes betrayed his brave facade. He threw himself into work, a temporary escape from helplessness. The family clung to hope, their love for Tito a beacon in the darkness. Eric and Mel struggled to cope with their emotions. Eric buried himself in work, seeking control in a chaotic world. He became withdrawn, his calm demeanor replaced by irritability. Mel sought solace in her art, her sketches reflecting her inner turmoil. She drew her brother as she remembered him, full of life and laughter. The once unbreakable bond of the Jackson family began to fray. Nightly dinners became tense, the silence punctuated by forced attempts at conversation. Their shared grief and unspoken fear strained their relationships. The family clung to hope, their love for Tito a beacon in the darkness. One evening, Melissa overheard a conversation between Eric and Mel. "I can't take this anymore," Eric's voice cut through the silence. "What if he never wakes up?" Mel's voice choked with tears. Melissa wanted to comfort them but hesitated, her own grief holding her captive. Eric's frustration spilled out, his words laced with bitterness. He's supposed to have his whole life ahead of him. Melissa felt a sob rise in her chest, her own fears mirrored in Eric's words. She wanted to comfort him but was trapped behind her wall of grief. Later that night, Perry joined Melissa in the hospital cafeteria. He sank into the chair opposite her, his shoulders slumping with weariness. "How is he?" he asked, his voice raspy. "The same," Melissa replied, her voice flat. Perry nodded, his gaze distant. "I can't keep doing this," he said, his voice barely a whisper. Melissa reached for his hand, her touch a silent plea for understanding. They realized they couldn't afford to give in to despair. The next morning, Melissa noticed a subtle change in Tito's demeanor. His breathing deepened, his chest rising and falling with a rhythm that spoke of life. She paused her reading, her heart pounding. His eyelids fluttered slightly, a barely perceptible movement. "Tito?" she whispered, her hand caressing his cheek. His fingers twitched, his grip tightening around her hand. A choked sob escaped her lips, a mixture of relief and joy. Tito was fighting his way back to them, a glimmer of hope in the darkness. Melissa's intuition told her this was more than a reflex. She called for the nurse, her voice trembling with excitement. The nurse, Brenda, checked Tito's vitals. "I saw it," Melissa insisted. "He squeezed my hand." Brenda adjusted the IV drip, scanning the monitors. "I'll call Dr. Lewis," Brenda said, her voice calm but reassuring. Melissa turned back to Tito, her heart pounding with hope. She would cling to this glimmer of hope, willing it to grow stronger. Word of Tito's response spread through the family. Eric rushed back to the hospital, his face etched with cautious hope. Mel packed her sketchbooks, determined to be there for her brother. Perry allowed himself a small smile, a glimmer of light returning to his eyes. The atmosphere in the ICU shifted, the oppressive silence replaced by whispers of hope. They sat by Tito's bedside, willing him to wake up. Mel brought a portable speaker and played Tito's favorite music. Soft melodies filled the room, a soundtrack of his life. They played his favorite hip-hop beats, willing his soul to stir. Melissa swore she saw Tito's fingers tap lightly to the rhythm. It was a subtle movement, but to Melissa it was confirmation that music was reaching him. She replaced the tunes with a soulful melody, a song that always brought a smile to Tito's face. Melissa closed her eyes, her heart filled with fragile hope. The days that followed were a testament to small victories. Each flutter of Tito's eyelids, each twitch of his fingers was met with joy. Dr. Lewis spoke of positive signs, the brain's remarkable ability to heal. He cautioned that the road to recovery would be long and arduous. The Jacksons dared to hope, envisioning a future with Tito. They celebrated each milestone, no matter how small. The day Tito opened his eyes, the family erupted in cheers. The day he spoke, their hearts soared with joy. As Tito emerged from his coma, the Jacksons felt a renewed sense of purpose. They rallied around him, their love and support fueling his recovery. Eric spent hours by his bedside, sharing stories and playing cards. Mel transformed Tito's room into a vibrant gallery of her artwork. Perry became Tito's rock, his unwavering presence a source of comfort. Melissa never left her son's side, her love guiding him back to the light. The laughter returned to the Jackson household, tinged with a newfound appreciation for life. The accident tested them, but revealed their resilience and the depth of their love. They learned that even in the darkest times, hope could bloom again. The Jackson family's journey is a testament to the indomitable spirit within us all. It's a story of resilience, love's enduring power, and extraordinary strength. They could have succumbed to despair but chose to fight. They held on to each other, believing in a brighter tomorrow. Through their darkest hours, they discovered a wellspring of strength. They learned that vulnerability is a catalyst for profound connection. They found solace in their shared grief, their tears watering seeds of hope. They emerged stronger, more united, and more grateful. Their story reminds us that we are defined by how we respond to challenges. It's a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, our innate capacity to heal, grow, and find meaning even in suffering. The Jackson family's journey underscores the transformative power of positive thinking. When faced with unimaginable hardship, they could have easily spiraled into negativity, allowing fear and despair to dictate their thoughts and actions. But they made a conscious choice to focus on hope, to cling to the belief that Tito would recover, and to find strength in their love for one another. This wasn't about denying the reality of their situation. It was about choosing where they focused their energy. They understood that while they couldn't control the circumstances, they could control their reactions to them. And by choosing to cultivate a mindset of positivity, they empowered themselves to navigate their ordeal with greater resilience, hope, and grace. Their story teaches us that positivity is not a passive trait. It's an active choice we make every single day. It's about training our minds to focus on the good, to find opportunity in adversity, and to believe in our ability to overcome challenges. It's about cultivating gratitude for the blessings in our lives, no matter how small they may seem. And it's about surrounding ourselves with people who uplift us, who inspire us, and who remind us of our own strength. The Jackson family's story is a testament to love, resilience, and the human spirit's ability to triumph over adversity. They cherish every moment, find strength in vulnerability, and embrace positive thinking. Their story is a beacon of hope, celebrating love, family, and community. They choose hope over despair, inspiring us to create a brighter future. Their journey reminds us to rise, stronger and more resilient.